the waters over Australia's Great Barrier Reef. For generations, the Aboriginal Irukandji tribe have spoken of a mysterious presence in these waters, torturing with unthinkable pain. A scourge that today bears the tribe's name, Irukandji syndrome. March 2002. Robert King, an American tourist, is snorkeling through the pristine, clear waters of the reef. A tiny sting. King sees nothing in the water. No box jelly, nothing. But in 20 minutes, a headache sets in, driving him back to the boat. 10 minutes later, the pain spreads. Severe muscle cramps, nausea. The pain builds, advancing, unrelenting, excruciating. He can no longer control his movements. The torture of this ancient scourge. King is airlifted to a hospital, but the doctors are nearly helpless. There is no antivenom for Irukandji syndrome. They can only treat symptoms as they appear, injecting morphine to ease the pain. 2 weeks later, King dies. His killer? A tiny, nearly invisible jellyfish weighing less than an ounce. Small and seemingly harmless. It went undiscovered until the 1960s. Karukia Barneseye, named after the man who discovered them, Dr. Jack Barnes. As an emergency room doctor, he treated scores of patients coming down with symptoms of a jelly sting, yet all without ever having glimpsed their assailant. Intent on finding the culprit, he searched the North Australian waters with the most frequent attacks. And in 1964, he apprehends a tiny, almost invisible suspect, a 1 centimeter wide jellyfish. But no one believed such an unimposing creature could be so deadly. To prove his case, the doctor stings himself, the lifeguard on duty, and his son. Within the hour, the symptoms hit. All three are hospitalized with Irukandji syndrome, conclusive proof that this tiny jelly is the source. All three survived the unorthodox experiment. Yet to this day, much about these enigmatic creatures remains a mystery. And as the research into these creatures advances, more and more cases are being linked to Irukandji. And Jamie is working to build a catalog of the perpetrators. By comparing stingers from skin samples scraped off victims with stingers from jellyfish collected in the field, he can ID the culprit. It turns out that Irukandji syndrome is not caused by a single species. As many as 6 animals have been proven to cause the illness. And Jamie is finding more and more.
It's got the nematocyst that I would expect, but it's got this third one. And I've never seen that before, which probably means it's a new species. And it's capable of killing people. I mean, that's pretty frightening.
The deeper he digs, the more suspects he finds. And they're turning up everywhere.
It's cropping up in more and more places throughout the world. You see it right throughout Australia. It's in Timor, Indonesia, Bali, in Madagascar. You see it in Waikiki Beach.
But there is disturbing new evidence. Irukandji syndrome is showing up far beyond the warm tropical waters of the Indian Ocean and South Pacific. 2 a.m., the Florida Keys. A U.S. military combat diver on a routine training mission. Covered from head to toe, there's almost no exposed skin, except for perhaps a tiny patch of cheek between the mask and hood. A nearly imperceptible pinprick. And then a headache. The muscle cramps. The unending crescendo of excruciating pain. Irukandji syndrome, striking in the coastal waters of the United States. And while deadly attacks are rare, new reports are pouring in from around the globe. Irukandji-like symptoms in Japan, and even as far north as the icy waters of Great Britain. The number of reported cases is growing. It seems these jellyfish can exist almost everywhere. Around the globe, throngs of jellyfish are on the march. Could it be these primitive creatures are destined to completely reclaim the seas?